Hey, what's happening? Another episode of Conversation with Capone. Another vlog. Yeah, so you heard the first one. It was discussion about who helped Chicano rap on the radio. So now I'm gonna speak upon who helped Chicano raps flourish through California, Texas, New Mexico, Colorado, Virginia, New York. How did it get out there? We didn't have social media back there like that. We didn't have YouTube. None of that was happening. You had to have strong street soldiers to make it happen. And guys who were selling the most was Little Rob, Mr. Capone, High Power, and a few other artists were doing real good, right? But how did it get out there? That's the question. Who put their blood, sweat, and tears to make this happen for the culture, for the cultura? Now, obviously, I'm one of the 5, 6, 7 guys that done it. So I'm not gonna brag too much about me because you guys get mad every time I tell you the truth. Truth hurts and I feel it. Misery loves company. You're gonna find another one who's mad about it too, and you guys all gonna chew it up on the comments. But it is what it is, homeboys. I'm one of the few, and it is what it is. But let's talk about the other ones, right? Because I'm here to give you klecha about everybody else who helped, and you guys should definitely show some love to or show some respect to in certain ways. Whether some people were bad later, some people had different, like not everyone was the perfect person. Even I guess me, I wasn't your perfect guy that racially you loved, that you didn't know, like, oh, Capone's like, nah, I hate you, fuck, whatever. But some other people maybe had bad mañas or whatever, different stuff, or did bad, whatever. But I'm gonna let you know who really put this out there like that. So I'm coming right now on top of the head. Number 1, Murray Brumfield. Okay, if you don't know who Murray Brumfield is, he's, I would say, one of the originators. I mean, before me, all day, every day. Originators of Chicano rap, of the whole movement. He brought out Little Rob, the first guy to put Little Rob on the map. Shadow, Nada, all those SD guys that you love. It was Familia record that started all that. Straight up, you guys didn't know. Even all the way to the 805 with the Down and Oxnard and all the homies over there. Like, it was Familia Records that started it. Now he started it, but like, I don't want to disrespect, but he was a good brother, African American guy, but he probably didn't understand the culture or understand the stilos and stuff. But he would put like album covers of like Southsiders with sagging and stuff like that. Like, it would be all weird, right? But the graphic, I mean, he didn't design it, but he probably found someone to design it, and they made weird covers. But it didn't matter at that time. Everybody was excited. They seen dope music, and he's one of the first ones to make it happen. And not only did he make it happen, he used to drive around. I used to meet him all the time. He used to drive around in his Mercedes S-Class. At that time, was worth $150,000. Interior, camel, I don't know what kind of leopard, whatever he had, interior, boxes full of CDs. You can't even see him just driving like it was a work truck, because that's how he was doing it, because he's working hard for the whole stilo. I mean, whether he left the stilo because of probably racial stuff too, it is what it is. I mean, people like, they get discouraged, one little bad thing, they're like, I'm out. Like, I don't care about this no more. But he is one of the pioneers to make it happen. Number 2, we could say Royalty. He was also involved in the pushing of Chicano rap. Little Rob was obviously on what's his name, Familia Records before, and then Royalty talked to him, whether he said, this Raza, come with us, whatever. Little Rob was like, okay, I'm gonna jump on this ship. Whether Little Rob and Royal got along after that, and Little Rob went somewhere else, but at the end of the day, Royalty, he had Little Rob after him. He was pushing on the streets. He was a great businessman and knowing how to make artists, build them. We heard of Miss Sancha. I mean, years nobody who knew who Miss Sancha was. Much respect to his business. Like, everybody thought there was this Miss Sancha, but he knew how to do it and market it, and everybody fell for it. He had 3 Sanchos, boom, 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 until he found the right Sancho. He did something that I was like, that's a good idea, which I wanted to do, but he beat me to the punch. He did Khalifa Thugs. I wanted to do Brown Thugs and get Lazy Bone and Bone Thugs to support these new Chicano artists to blow up. But then he came with the Khalifa thugs. So it's like, hey, another genius move. He was great with the business moves. And we had a high power gangs, low profile gangs. It goes back and forth, whatever, everyone claiming this. I was Capone. He made a guy called Big Capone until I ran up on this guy. I'm like, what's up, homie? You Big Capone? No, it is what it is. Tricks, but hey, you got to give respect. World T's a pioneer. He got the music out there. He pushed it into different states and stuff. Some people might like him. Some people might not. Like people say a lot of things about him. Like me and him personally didn't get along for a while too. And now we talk. It's cool. But at the end of the day, he is definitely a pioneer in the game. And you got to give the man his props. Because if it wasn't for him, you wouldn't hear this dope Chicano rap. He would invest and he would put money behind his artists. He would take in the fingers. He would pay for the tracks, produce it. He would do the right thing. So at the end of the day, he put good quality into it, and shouts out Royalty for doing that. And hey, respect it is. It is what it is. Number 3, who probably should have been number 2. I skipped on him because he was older, but he's big in the game. Tomas Underworld 805 Records. If you know Cali Lifestyle, Lost, all those hits from 805, he put 805 on the map. Like Gacho, I bumped some of the CLS. I was bumping some of that stuff, and I'm all the way in the SGV as a little youngster bumping that stuff. I'm like, dang, where's State Street at? I'm gonna go cruise that boulevard. Hey, Tomas 805, he did it. And let me tell you another thing about Tomas from 805 Records. He's, out of all these guys in the game, he's one of the cleanest business that you can ever deal with. Like I'm not gonna say no names, but Tomas was always clean business. He would support me. We would work together. He would support Royalty. He would support Murray. He would support everyone, and he wasn't taking sides. He was supporting everyone, and he deserves a plaque. He deserves some respect. He did a lot for the game. I personally told him I'm down to do a project with you guys, a funk album. So we're working on figuring that out. But he, in the end of the day, no one could talk about it. People have problems with him, but they end up being cool with him. But he personally helped every label get to where they're at. He has a piece of respect in my heart that he put his heart into pushing my stuff into his area, and so on and so forth. He did everyone. I can't even say anything negative about him. He is definitely a pioneer. He should have had guys like Little Rob on his thing too. He should have had guys. And eventually, you know how it goes. Labels come and go. These are the top. Remember, there was 50 to 100 labels out there. But now all these labels left their label. They went over here. They went over here. Everybody doesn't stay loyal. But if someone should have been loyal to this guy's someone you got to be loyal to because he really put it down. If he would have signed me back in the days, because I hit him up. I hit up everybody when I was a nobody. He might have had a loyal soldier till this day. But on that note, he was doing his thing, hustling. He was more than a label, though. One thing he lacked compared to Royalty, he would just put the projects out. Some would have samples. He wasn't thinking about the long run, where I was thinking about the long run out of everybody. And so was probably Royal and a couple other people. Murray also samples. That was another downfall for him, but he was one of the main players, and he got your music everywhere. So it wasn't to him. He got my stuff, Low Pro. He got Lil Rob. He got Upstairs, Mr.Capone, Mr. Criminal. The list goes on. Miss Crazy. The list goes on. So that's the next one. Now I'm gonna make the other ones short. I'm gonna have to make them short because my time is gonna be long. But there was another guy, Mr. D. Southland Records. Same thing with him. He had a lot of samples, but at the end of the day, he pushed a lot of music everywhere. That guy got around, and I'll tell you this, out of everybody, he taught me something that I didn't know. I used to know every barrio, every hood. I would put CDs in everything. But one thing I learned from him, I would just push my music. But he had 805 Records, Central Coast Click he was pushing. He was pushing every Chicano artist. It's not just Southland. He was the face Southland he was pushing. But he had everybody's CDs in their thing. And if it wasn't for him, your music wouldn't be seen anywhere because he was putting it everywhere. And one day, me and him went to go hustle. He goes, "Show me your hoods." I took him to the SGV. I took him to the IE, and he didn't even know about some of these places, right? Because I'm from the hood. I know everything. And I would go in there, and they're like, "Oh, Capone, you're the hottest selling right here. We'll buy 30 of yours." Bam, right? They bought 30 CDs, $8 a pop, whatever it was, right? He would come in, and he had 5 of this, 5 of that, 5 of that, 5 of this. In front of me, he smashed out 60 to 80. But it was every Chicano artist versus just Mr. Capone. So I was like, why would you push all that? He's like, the money. Me, I personally didn't push everyone's stuff. It was just brutal high power on my side. But I seen how he did that, so I took to consideration. I traded here and there, not more than Tomas, because they did everybody, not more than Murray, not more than Mr. D, but I did push a little different stuff and put stuff in different areas for them, and he learned through me, but he definitely was a major force to put it out everywhere. Props go to where props is due. He put the music out there everywhere on the street level. From and A1A definitely. One thing about him on the A18, he had that sold up. Like, he wouldn't let nobody know where to go on the A18. And I'm from the other Valle, and that was one of my weakest spots in all of LA. I knew everything. The weakest spot that I didn't know as good was the Valle 818. And he had that unlocked. He wouldn't let nobody know a secret. But eventually everything crumbles and falls, and we figure out everything, right? Because you have homies from different areas and etc. So that's another player in the game. Few more I'm gonna run by real quick. Eastside Records, shots out, rest in peace. He was also a main player. Man, Richard Sneed, rest in peace. He's the one that bring Little Cuete. They just had one project, and that's all he did. But he really put it out there, and he supported all of us. Who else was there, man? I'm hopefully I ain't trying to miss them. GMP, which was also under Tomas's family. They were kind of pushing music out there a lot. PR Records, he did something. He was Brown Side pushing them. He Polish dude. He was somebody in the game. Jerome, African American brother out of the 805. He was doing some stuff. Man, there was a couple other I don't want to miss, man. Shoot. There was a couple more. I know I missed a few right now, but I just told you some of the big dogs, right? And yeah, hopefully I ain't missing nobody. But yeah, those are the main players and stuff. And then later came Urban Kings. Jimmy, he used to have all the swap meets in Santa Fe Springs. And then I remember we had a girl called Miss Crazy. He told me, "Hey, can you not have a Miss Crazy?" So I was all right. I dropped that project. I ended up doing it out of respect for him. Then he made Miss Crazy, but then I was like, this guy, we're a high power combo. Then there was a Charlie Roll combo. And then he started doing like, it was Capone. Then he signed a guy called Capone. Hey, it is what it is, but he was definitely a player, and he controlled a lot of the Los Angeles area. He had all the Santa Fe Springs area. So he was a major player. And there's a few more that I can't recall and can't remember. But these guys, you got to give props to where props is due, who put some of these Chicanos out there and got them out there like that and really put them worldwide. You feel me? And yeah, and speaking of Urban Kings, he pushed even out of state guys, which from Texas and stuff like that. And that's a whole nother story about, Mr. Jones. But hey, he pushed that, and we can talk about that later. But hey, another episode of Vlogs, a conversation with Capone. Make sure you show love to all these guys who help the community, because people want to know the truth. So I'm gonna let you guys know, man. Straight up from Capone, whether you love me or hate me, because the first 4 years you guys said I'm the greatest. I have fools dress and look like me, Capone this, Capone that. Then the internet, the racism, hate came, and fools who say you're the greatest rapper now saying like you suck, or only your old stuff is good. Why is my old stuff good? Is that when you were not racist and now you are? But hey, we already know what it is. Hey, show respect, whether you don't show respect to me. One of the guys who pushed it everywhere, because yes, I pushed all your favorite rappers everywhere. And I can go from Little Robs to Shadows to everyone I pushed to eventually putting shows on with different artists. Like we had a King G show, booked him a couple times, different players, places. But yeah, these are some of the guys who put people out there in the map, criminal. You know my whole camp. I don't even want to talk about me. But that's another episode of Conversation with Capone. Hopefully you got another educational purpose video from me and some positivity. Drop some thumbs up, share this, and hopefully we can keep this positive and we can come back and unify and blow up the music, man. I'm out. Oh.